Hello, dear community, and very welcome in our CVC talk today. Jelena Markovic is with us today, Managing Director of TGW Logistics Ventures. Their corporate venturing arm of TGV Logistics, located in Vienna, and investing in the future of intralogistics across Europe. Jelena, welcome in studio.
Thank you very much for having me.
It's a real pleasure to meet you. Before we start and talking about your business, it's fascinating. You've been in the VC business since 10 years, now in your current role. Maybe just give us a short insight of your activity in the VC in the past 10 years.
Well, I started in classical venture capital, and then in 2018 I ventured into corporate venture capital and really found out for myself that this is the thing that I like to do the most, so really bridging the world of startups to the corporate and creating a value add for both sides.
Fantastic, which you're doing at TGW as well. So many CVCs are rethinking their programs, but you guys are really investing and growing. How do you position yourself in the market? What are you up to?
Yes, so generally speaking, the background is that larger tech companies cannot develop all their strategically relevant technologies in-house. So to be able to create a competitive edge or to keep one, they have to partner with other tech companies, or to have the most disruptive solutions on board, partner with deep tech startups. And this is where we come in at TGW Logistics Ventures as the corporate venture arm of TGW Logistics. We provide structured access to the corporate, to the most strategically relevant deep tech startups in Europe. And we do that through our extensive deal sourcing activities throughout Europe, where we source more than 1,000 startups per year, and we analyze them. And in that deal flow, we identify the most promising startups and invest corporate venture capital into them. And on top of that, we also foster collaboration between the portfolio startups and the corporate to really funnel the technology into the corporate ecosystem and, in the best case, into the customer base to create a value add to both sides, the corporate and the startups. So to sum it up, the intention of our operations is to create a tangible strategic value to the corporate while generating a return on investment through our corporate venture capital activities at the same time.
Fantastic. And I was able to learn that you have an extremely broad scope of innovation that you're looking for, because intralogistics is such a broad and innovation-driven field that will grow in the future. Maybe you could just give us a short insight on what kind of innovations are you looking for, from robotics to AI and many other technologies.
Yes, so we invest in industrial technologies that are applicable in large-scale fulfillment centers. And as you just mentioned, this ranges from robotics and sensorics to digital twinning, cybersecurity, but also things like energy management and also things like sustainable materials. And in these spaces, we look for deep tech solutions with a strong USP, a scalable business model where we invest in usually late seed to Series A, and with ticket sizes of up to 1.5 million euros throughout Europe.
Fantastic. We'll talk about that in a second, more into depth. One question that arises as well into today's market: how do you see, or where do you see the challenges of a CVC activities of tomorrow, for example, since you're growing, since you have big plans, also for our other colleagues to be able to learn from you?
Well, there are many challenges in the corporate venture capital world, but first and foremost, in a setup like ours, it is to create a long-term value, long-term strategic value for the corporate that is funding us beyond the financial returns through the investments. So, as mentioned, to actually make these collaborations happen between the startups and the corporate, to find the right application spaces in the technology ecosystem of the corporate. And we have to cover both value streams, so financial returns and strategic value, to be able to be a tool, an innovation tool and a vehicle that is attractive for the corporate that is funding us in the long term. And this is especially the case for CVCs operated by medium-sized companies. And this in itself creates another challenge. So we have to manage all the tasks of a classical VC, so finding the most promising startups, getting into the deals, and being able to close in the very tight timelines of VC investments. But on top of that, we have the additional layer of corporate stakeholders that we have to manage to actually identify where are the synergies in the corporate, between the corporate and the startup, and we have to manage all of that during the classical VC assessment and due diligence time, which is quite a task, but the CVC of tomorrow has to be able to manage this, this bundle of interdependent challenges to be able to remain that attractive tool for the corporate that is funding us.
Fantastic. Since you've been in the industry for over 10 years, both in VC and CVC field, would you say that this is a special added value of CVCs, both strategic value that you provide and financial value that you provide for founders and startups?
Yes, in the best case, this is what you provide. But it's very hard and very challenging to cater to both markets, because if you want to provide the strategic value, then you have to have the very, let's say, lean decision processes in the corporate to be able to identify where can we work together, where can we funnel the technology into the corporate. But at the same time, you have to be able to be fast enough to get into the deals, to close the deals on time, and to not hold up the deals for the startups. So yeah, this is the value add that we can offer if we have the processes managed very well.
Fantastic, which requires professional management
yes.
of this field. What do you look for in founders? Obviously, you mentioned the technologies that you're looking for along of your innovation activities, but are you looking also in the mindset, in the team fit, in all other aspects of it?
Yes, definitely. So the founders, they have to have a growth mindset. They have to be willing to scale and grow their companies in a fast but sustainable manner and be willing to have an exit so we as venture capital investors can create our return on investment. And of course, they have to have the right mindset to push their technologies into the market and in the best case become the market leaders in their niche and in their technologies. And of course, in working together with the founders in getting to know each other in the assessment phase, but also in the due diligence phase, and then working together afterwards, we have to have the feeling that they're reliable, they're professional, and that we have a good feeling of funneling them into the corporate and getting them into touch with the corporate, and in some cases even with our C-level of the corporate.
Do you measure your kind of success on both levels, strategic KPIs and financial KPIs?
100%.
Okay.
So on one hand, we have the classical portfolio asset KPIs for financial tools because we are investing significant money into these startups. We invest initial tickets of up to 1.5 million, but we also commit to follow on in the follow rounds,
Fantastic.
at least pro rata. So this is quite a significant financial investment also for the corporate and also us. So we of course measure the return on investment over the portfolio over time. But of course we also have the KPIs on the strategic side where we measure how do these collaborations benefit the corporate? How do these new technologies, the access to these new technologies benefit the corporate? So yes, we cover both sides.
Fantastic. As we know, venture capital is also people's business.
Yes.
Startups and founders like to work with people where the chemistry is there. So give us some insights on your team, and is your team growing? Are you expecting also new members? So who are the teams behind your activity?
Well, to answer your second question, yes, our team is growing.
Fantastic.
And the team members that we're looking for, They have to bring a certain portfolio of skill sets. So they have to have a background where they're able to assess technologies, but also financial matters at the same time. They have to have a skill set where they're able to be highly analytical, striving for highest quality results, but also being a good networker, because venture capital is a people's business, as you just mentioned. And of course, they have to fit our company culture, which is being entrepreneurial, striving for highest quality results, and of course being absolute team players. And especially the team player aspect and this striving for the highest quality of results is something that we also apply to working with startups. We are a reliable partner. We see ourselves as a partner of the startups, as someone who enables them, who provides the promised value add of funneling them into our networks and providing not only strategic value to the corporate that is funding us, but also to our portfolio companies.
Fantastic.
So it's a give and take on both sides.
Do you see, like in your own case, talents from venture capital firms also joining CVCs? Is that something that is attractive as well?
Yes, definitely. And in our case, this is, for example, the case. Some of our team members have been part of classical venture capital funds before. And I think joining a corporate venture arm is super interesting because you have the classical activities of the VC investment space, because also we are 100% financially driven when it comes to the investment part. But you also have this additional layer of challenge, but also a rewarding challenge where you create value for a corporate and for a portfolio startup. And I think this is really fulfilling to have this purpose of investment.
And you see how also transformation of enterprise or middle-sized companies functions if you collaborate with startups in the right way, which is super important for our economy in general. Yes. Before we close with an outlook, maybe just since we have you here as an expert, would you advise other companies in Europe, in Austria, in Germany, also to try these instruments of corporate venturing or corporate venture capital to foster their innovation faster?
Yes, the answer is 100% yes, because there is one part of innovation that is, of course, tailored to the internal R&D activities of a tech company. But then there are technologies that are so disruptive that they have to be developed in a bubble of super experts, and which is a startup. And to have access to these companies and to these solutions provides a strategic value to a corporate that can really create a competitive edge, not only to keep the competitive edge, but to create a new one, to be the first mover of using these kinds of technologies and being able to offer them to your customers.
Fantastic. Speaking about how to move forward in Europe, yes, that would be one of the ways. What are your midterm goals? What is the future holding in for you?
Well, the midterm goals are very, very easy for me to describe because they are essentially creating really tangible, strategic and measurable value to TGW Logistics, but also to our portfolio companies.
Fantastic. Jelena, it was really great having you here. I think it's fantastic that we have such expertise in the market for CVC. Keep up the good work, and I hope that you inspire many founders and also many middle-sized and enterprise companies to go this way. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for being with us. This was Jelena Markovic today with us, CVC Insights, 10 years of market expertise in the venture capital scene. We'll follow up on the stories because I think there are going to be a lot of exciting news. Thank you for being with us today, and goodbye.